Happy Saturday, guys. Come on in. Let's talk. Let's chat. Let's get it. Can you throw your peace sign up in your duck lips? Or we gonna call this the I can symbol with the duck lips. Bam. Who can? You can. Who can? I can. Who can? We can. Yes, that's the topic of today. I pray that you have had an awesome week. I can't think of anything that has happened this week. 2 weeks ago, the Bucks won. I don't really know. I'm trying to think of something that's like in the news or something that's going on. But what's going on in your life? You're still alive. You're still breathing. You're still moving. You're still living. That's something to celebrate. Let's talk about that. What are you doing with the breath that you do have? What are you doing with the energy and the life, the days, the minutes, the hours, the seconds? What are you doing with that? Are you using it wisely? Are you using it sitting back saying what you can't do and making up excuses why you can't do it? Or are you taking advantage of every second, recognizing and realizing every second and every minute and every hour of every day is precious? It is precious because there will be a second, a minute, an hour, and a day that we don't get to experience. We don't get to plan. We don't get to prepare. We don't get to make excuses no longer because our time would have come. But while you are here, what are you doing with what you have? That's what makes days great. That's what makes weeks great. That's what makes months great. That's what makes years great. Not just you saying, this is my year, this is my season, but what are you going to do in that year? What are you going to do in that season? So we're going to talk about that today. Come on. I can fingers and your duck lips. I can. Grab your drinks, whatever you're drinking. Of course, you know me. I'm doing coffee with hazelnut creamer. And it's so good. In my Saturday cup or mug, whatever you call it. And yes, they are still for sale for those who wants a mug or a cup. Hey, if you can't afford it, let me know. I'm your girl. Like, if anybody knows me, I'm all about a good blessing. I throw blessings in all the time. You'll never know. It's just when you get it, say, well, how much? Well, did I ask you for anything? I want, okay, yeah, I'll do these, but these purses, this is going to be free. So I like to give back. That's the way that I have chosen, and I choose to give back, especially for people who are supporters, who support me all the time. I have some clients who support like everything that I do. Everything that I do, they find no excuse. They find no reason to even find a reason why not to. It's just like, oh, you doing that? Hey, can I get one? Hey, can I get two? Hey, can you make this or do this for so and so, and then I'll pay for it. And so those type of people, I always try to give back and bless some type of way. Sometimes being a blessing is not always buying somebody something or giving them a check or money. Seeds come in many different forms. So make sure you are sowing your seeds. Make sure you are saying thanks in the way that you say thank you, so that people know that you appreciate them just like you want to be appreciated. So for everybody who has supported me, not just with Saturday, but with the Designs by Adore, with Talking Teas, with what else do I have? I feel like I got so much stuff going on sometimes, it's like I can't keep up. But if you have ever supported me, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We all need to know that what we're doing, there's somebody who's on the other end that's not just watching us, not just judging us, but that they are supporting, but more than that, that they're receiving. That they're receiving. Because people can support you all day just because I got it, just because I can, just because, But are they receiving from what you are doing? I want to be a blessing, not only in the form of what I do, but through what I do. I don't want to just sew, but I want when you put this outfit on that you feel your best, that you feel like you are beautiful, that you feel like you are the head and not the tail, a queen, like you're chosen, like you are And guess what? You may say, well, clothes don't make you do that. Then you ain't putting on the right clothes. Because there's sometimes when you put a good outfit on, you could be in the mirror and you do a little dance like, ooh, I know I'm cute. Or if you get a nice hairstyle. Or if your makeup looks nice. Or if you got a suit and you're a guy. Or if you got some new shoes if you're a guy. Whatever it is, there are certain things that when we put on, it just makes us feel important. It makes us feel like, I look nice. Can you tell yourself you look nice? Can you tell yourself you love you? Tisha, I love you. I love everything about you. Everything about you. So love yourself. But back to the topic of today, I can. Just to give you a little history on I can. Back in 2017. Yes, so now we are 4 years. In April, actually, so we'll soon to be 4 years. Back in 2017, April of 2017, the Lord had given me this I can. And I began to put it up on all of my posts and everything that I put up. Back in the days, I used to put up an encouraging, I don't want to say word, but an encouraging post up every morning. I used to try to do it by 8 o'clock, no later than 9 o'clock. If I missed that 9 o'clock mark, I kind of wouldn't do it because I kind of am was very consistent and wanted to be on target and on time with that. And so I would put it up, I can, and with the peace sign, I don't know why, I did the peace sign, but just did. And then the Holy Spirit gave me this idea. Get 12 women who has a story. Have them share their story, their I can story. Well, what is the I can story? What I was in, but didn't think I would get out of. Where I was, but I no longer am. What I went through, but God brought me out. What I did not think I could do, but what I'm standing in today. Why? Because come on, fingers and duck lips. Because I can. Not just I can do all things through Christ. So that's why I tag it with through Christ. Because sometimes, even though we can, we don't believe that we can because we're looking at ourselves. We're looking at what we have. We're looking at our past experiences. We're looking at what we have been able to do, what we haven't been able to do, maybe the lack of finances, all the different excuses and reasons, because not every excuse or not every reason is an excuse. Sometimes it's legitimate, but it's not factual to stand against what the word tells us. So when the word tells us, you can do, I can do all things through Christ, then that means all things through Christ, not some things, not what I have the money for, not what I have the education for, not what I have the background in, not what I have the experience for, not what I have the connections for. I can do all things through Christ, which then becomes the foundation of the things that you can do. It has to be through Christ, not in your own strength, not in your own will, not in your own power, not in your own mind, not in your own creativity. Use all of that, but now you submit it at the feet of Christ because he's the one who gives you strength. And so the idea was to get 12 women. I reached out to them. One of the women at the time, Makita DuBose, I'm putting her on blast because she also does t-shirts. If you want bling t-shirts, Makita DuBose, I may tag her. I'll ask her if I could tag her in this. I really don't like tagging people in any of my posts unless I ask them, is it okay, unless they tell me, because I have people who tag me and stuff all the time, especially stuff that does not have anything to do with me. And it's like, why are you tagging me in this? Like, inbox it to me, text it to me, but I understand the whole, if I could put it on your page and get my information to all your people. So I kind of work solo and dolo. That's just my mindset. It's not because I think that I can do it by myself and I don't need no team. No, I just try to respect people's pages. That's all. So I will ask her, is it okay? But Makita DuBose, she does teas. I can't think of the name of her business/ministry right now, but I'll tag it. She was one of the 12. And at the time, because she was doing shirts, I was not even doing shirts at the time, or bling shirts. I said, you know what? Can you make me a shirt that says I can? and with the finger, with the peace sign. She said yes. And then I said, you know what, can we add the scriptures? Because I want people to know why, or why we can. It's not just that we can. It's because God said that we can. All things through him who strengthens us. And long story short, I gathered the 12 women, told them, shared my vision. They were all on board. They all had a story. It was diverse. Not only African American women, there were some of my white sisters, so Caucasian. I don't play those race and name games. My white sisters, if that's offensive, I apologize. That's not what I am trying. Anyway, there was some older than me, some my age, some younger than me. It was 12, not just that I picked, that God showed me. They were on board. I asked for a shirt for myself, and then I said, you know what? Since they are all on board, how about this would be a nice gift? Because remember, I'm all about blessing, and I don't have to tell you that I'm going to bless you. I don't have to I don't make it public. I just, okay, I want to do this. Reached back out to her. Hey, how about we do 12 shirts? I get all the ladies' sizes. You do a shirt for each one of them. That way, because they're on board, and I would pay for hers too, even though she's making the tees, because she's on part of this, vision. So let me do shirts for everybody. This would be a nice gift to give them, just to say thank you for wanting to be a part, willing to be a part. Long story short, gave them their shirts, had it together, and kind of never did what it is that I had planned back in April 2017. And that's the vision that God had given me. Now it makes me think, was it fear? I can't really say it was fear, because I had reached out to them, purchased the shirts, like what was all on board. What I've learned, there's sometimes that God gives us a vision, but it's not for the immediate time, it's for the appointed time. But sometimes we don't know when the appointed time is. We're just supposed to prepare. We're supposed to plan. We're supposed to be ready. We're supposed to do what we can on our end and allow God to move us into it. Wait and be of good courage till he shows us, okay, what I showed you 12 years ago, this is the time. Talking Truth with T, which this whole Saturday stems from. Talking Truth with T is a place where we expose, explore, and enlighten, encourage, and express. It's small talk about big issues. A commercial I did 2014 never did anything with Talking Truth with T. But the Lord used the pandemic to get me to start using or beginning to do encouraging videos on Saturdays, which at the time it was just, okay, I'm just here again doing another encouraging video. Then it was like I came up with this whole Saturday, and now that I'm in it, I look back and say, wow, God, what you showed me in 2014 for Talking Truth with T, I'm here now, exposing, exploring, enlightening, encouraging, expressing. It's small talk about big issues. There's no fuss. We not no judgment here. Once again, everything is just, kind of chill, kind of calm, right? But we're talking and discussing different topics and issues that are important to our everyday lives. So every time that God shows you something doesn't necessarily mean that it has to happen right then. Sometimes he's just giving you vision for the future. And then you have to do this. Let's go and read Psalm 37, 3 through 5. So we're talking about I can. All things through Christ. Psalm 37, 3 through 5 says, trust in the Lord and do what is good. Take delight in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him. Once again, trust in him and he will act, making your righteousness shine like the dawn, your justice like the noonday. That was actually 6, so we read 3 through 6. Trust in the Lord. When I think, or if I asked you, what keeps you from believing that you can? Everybody will have a different answer. Everyone will have a different response. Everyone has a different reason, and everyone has a different excuse. Because not all of our reasons are legit. Some of us are just using excuses and we color them. We know how to make them sound pretty and look pretty, so that the person that hears is like, oh, okay, they'll back off, because you know what? Yeah, that is true. You know, she never had it to be able to do what it is that she wants to do. And you know, she just lost her job, and, you know, her mother wasn't there, her father wasn't there, her family structure really wasn't there. So how could she really be an influence and encourage and motivate family? She feels passionate about that thing, but girl, you grew up in a foster home. How are you going to encourage about family and your family left you? Your family ditched you. You know, or if that's the excuse you're giving somebody, you know, I feel this push to really encourage, you know, families. But, you know, I grew up in a foster home. My mother and father, I don't even know who they are. And so, you know, sometimes it's almost like, how am I going to, you know, encourage other people? And then if you get the wrong person on the other end of hearing that mess or excuse, which you may or may not really think is legit, they may add fuel to that fire and say, you know what, yeah, that's right. Maybe if you know, and now they try to steer you down another end. Maybe if you only talk to foster parents to tell them the importance of loving the children that they bring in. No. What did God put on your heart to do? Not what they said. What did God tell you to do? What did God show you to do? What are the desires of your heart that God said he would give you? That's what matters. And if you're around anyone who's adding fuel to a negative fire that you started, you need to get from around them. You need to get around someone that's saying, I see fire, I smell smoke, or I see smoke, and I see smoke and I smell fire. Let me take this here water. Yes, water, whatever. Let me take this water and put that fire out. Because we're not going to allow you to use an excuse that's going to burn up your potential, that's going to burn up your purpose, that's going to burn up the path that God has laid before you for this journey that he has called you to. So what is the excuse? What are you using? What is your reason? Some of the reasons, fear. We've all been there. We've all been there. Fear. You know, they say false evidence appearing real. It's believing something that you don't even see, which is faith in the spirit you're in. But fear, oftentimes, we fear something that we haven't even encountered, that we haven't even engaged, that we haven't even seen, that we haven't even touched. It's just the thought of it. It's like, ooh. You ever see something or hear something, you start getting goosebumps and your heart start beating fast? What is that? You don't even know what that feeling should produce because you haven't felt it. You haven't seen it. You haven't come in close proximity or in contact with it. Past failures. It's another reason why we tell ourselves why we can't. Well, I tried this thing. I tried it one time. You know, many of us stop after the one time. Many of us stop after the first no. Not even a try. I just made a phone call and they told me why I couldn't get this loan. So you know what? If they told me, there's not a million other loan companies out there. I mean, no, it's just this one. So I'm just going to go with this one. They told me no. So I'm not even going to pick up the phone that I'm paying for to call another company to get the yes that God has promised me. See, that's the attitude that we need to have. If God said it, that means I do not stop till I get it. That doesn't mean I bullguard my way. That doesn't mean I kick down doors. That means I do what I'm supposed to do. I do what I have to do. And I trust God. Trust in the Lord. That's verse 3. And the end of verse 5. Trust in him. I trust God to do his part. Because he don't lie. And he makes no mistakes. He's not going to lead me down a dark path to fail at the end. He leads me. If he leads me down a dark path, it's only because he wants me to see what's on the other end of that. And what's on the other end of that is always more beautiful. Yeah, more beautiful. It's always beautiful. It's always better than what I came out of before I went down the dark path. Because that's how God works. I'm not saying that he always takes us down dark paths. But if that should be the path that he takes you down, you better believe there's some sunshine on the other end of that path. There's a rainbow on the other end of that path. There's treasures on the other end of that path. Because he leads me. He guides me. Right? What is another thing that makes us think that we can't? someone else's journey. We're looking at someone else and how their attempts failed, how they were successful and things flopped for them. And we kind of take on, well, that means if it happened for them, then it's going to happen for me that way. Do not put yourself in anyone else's shoes. Once again, we talked about last week, your fingerprints. You have a unique purpose that God created just for you, as he has given you 10 unique fingerprints. Think about that. You have 10 fingers. If you only have one, you have one unique fingerprint. How many ever fingers you have? That many unique fingerprints you have. And all the people in this world that have come, that are gone, that are still here. And you mean God has that many creative patterns? Yes. That ain't science. That ain't your doctor. That ain't your mother or your father. That's God. So I don't care what someone else did and how they did it. Now I can learn from them. Definitely learn. Definitely learn. You may want to get with them. You know, what are some do's and the don'ts? Like I need some advice. Don't be afraid of that. But I'm not going to take your journey and I'm not now going to mimic that. Nah. I'm unique. I'm an individual. Fearfully and wonderfully made. He didn't create me to follow in your paths. He created me with my 2 feet that fit in my size 8s the way that they do. Your size 8s may fit you how they do, and you may walk fine. My size 8s may have me a little, well, depending on the size of heel. But what is another reason that makes us think that we lack of support? Now, this one, I understand it. I understand it. I try to be sympathetic because I realize I have been very blessed that everything that God allows my mind to create, to think of, and to put up out there, I have been blessed. I have been blessed to have support. Everyone does not have that initially, so I understand that. But I also understand that a lot of times we're looking for support to come from a small bubble. We're looking for support to come from a small part of the world. My family, my friends, my circle. Well, then once your family, your friends, and your circle has your product or your book or whatever it is that you're selling, whatever it is that you're doing, if you're putting on events, once those 30 people come to your 12 events, then I mean, is there not a whole world? There's a whole world out there, as they would say. There's a whole world out there, and they're waiting for you, waiting to support you. But you're stuck in the bubble. You're stuck in your circle of influence. You're stuck in your family. You're stuck in your friendships. So lack of support is very real. However, as I told you last week, I told a lady on TikTok who asked the question, my family don't... Okay, and I give you that. Are there other ponds you can fish in? Okay, we're going to leave that right there. You don't want to be responsible. You don't want to be responsible. That's a reason why we think we can't. It's not necessarily that we think we can't. It's just I don't want to. And so because I don't want to be honest about what I don't want to be responsible for, I'll just change that and now come up with a creative excuse. Well, I can't. Because, and there goes the creativity. You're very creative. Once again, if you come up with excuses, you are a creative being. That is a sign that you are creative. If you ever made an excuse, that means you're creative, which means we are all creative. If we're made in the image and likeness of our Father, of God, of Christ, as Genesis tells us, and he created the heavens and the earth, the day, the night, the light, the dark. If he created all of that and I'm made in his image, then that, guess what? One of these 10 fingerprints, or if you have one, there's a line in your one finger that is stamped creative. Use it. What is another reason? Not enough finances. I get it. But I learned also sometimes it don't take... Okay, let me be careful. Sometimes we're afraid to use what we have. Sometimes we are afraid to use what we have. And I'm very creative, so I always say, if we ever get stuck out in the woods or forest somewhere, trust me, we gonna eat, we gonna bathe, we gonna sleep well, and we gonna get out. Because the way my mind works sometimes is just like I can look at something and find something else to do with it. If you come and be like, man, I don't have a safety pin and my pants just popped or my button just popped. My mind is like, dude, it's like I don't even try to think. It's just like my mind be like you just press, like you just type that in my mind and press enter. And my mind is like, you may not even know that I'm trying to think of a way to get you out of this situation or to help you in this situation, but my mind is like, you know what, have you tried this? Or you know what, that's just the way my mind works. So sometimes finances may be a reason, but what can you do with what you have to start it? To start it. Maybe you don't have the money to get a sample of something that you want. If you're creating something, can you draw it? Can you put the idea down enough or clear enough for someone else to read it, who can do what you need to do on a small level till you get the money to get it done on a larger scale? See, there's always a way. I'll tell you this, I've learned so much just about the different options and opportunities that are out there, the different companies that are out there that do different things for so cheap. Sometimes it's just your lack of knowing what's out there, because you're stuck to what you know, to who you know, to what you've seen and what you've heard. Well, what about the whole other side of your bubble? What you heard, what you've seen, what you know, what you've done. Okay, there's another side to that. Peter, cast your nets on the other side. We talked about that last week. One more. Actually, two more. We don't want to offend family members and friends. Some of us, sadly enough, weirdly enough, yet silly enough, we know that if we become anything, it will offend the family member or friend who's still stuck in the 1900s, that's still stuck in the excuse from when they were a teenager, that's still stuck in the past failure that they had, that's still stuck in their experience, whether it relates to what you're doing or not. Because they're stuck, they're enjoying you being stuck with them, because now you're company. You're comforting and you're company. You're making me feel okay to be here. I don't really want to be stuck because I know that there's more. I want more. But maybe because I am in fear, maybe because of past failures, and maybe someone else's journey, maybe the lack of support, the excuses that I'm using. Now I need you to have those same excuses so we can at least be stuck together. But now if you go ahead and get free, who am I gonna have here at the gate called Beautiful, as we talked about a few weeks ago? I need company here at the gate called Beautiful. This peace, not sure how that's peace, but there's peace here. There's rest here in this place that I have to beg, this place that I'm feeling sorry for myself, this place that I'm not really doing all that I can do. If you leave me here by myself, then what am I going to have? What am I going to have? So I used the power. I used my power. Where's the power? In your mouth, because the Bible says life and death is in the power of your tongue. So now I don't recognize my power and my worth to move out of this place where I'm stuck, move from the gate called Beautiful. But now I can use my power, spew my words on you to keep you and to pull you back, to get you to thinking, you know what? Maybe I can't really do that. You know what? Maybe that is too far out there. You know what? He's right, because the last time I tried, man, I lost everything. I lost everything. And yeah, the way I tried and what I did wasn't wise, and what I did wasn't time, and what I did, it wasn't smart, and what I did was kind of shaded, you know. So I lost everything because of what I did bad, what I did negative. But he does have a point, because I did lose everything before. So if I try this time, I know God is telling me to do it. I know the word says that I can do all things through Christ. I know God is saying this is my time. I know I asked God for forgiveness for how I moved the last time, knowing that he told me to wait and I went ahead of him. I know that, and now he's saying, you know, it's my season, it's my time, it's time to go. But my friend, my mother, my father, my sister, my husband, my wife, my children, man, at the gate called my pastor. Not my pastors, maybe your pastor. My pastors push me. And not just me. My pastors are pushers. My pastors are supporters. So not my pastor, but maybe your pastor. My pastor, you know, they're using their power to tell me, you're not ready. God didn't call you to do that. You sure? Yeah, but what if? Now you second guess yourself. Now you doubt. Now you go against what the Holy Spirit has told you in the timing, and the right timing that he has told you to do it. Now I got me a chilling at the gate called beautiful buddy. How long will you continue to use the excuse, I can't? And the last thing, you don't know the right people. You don't know the right people. Sometimes that is the truth. But I'm going to go back to the scripture, and it says in verse 5, commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act. Not commit your way to your friend, not commit your way to the loan lender, not commit your way to the bank, not commit your way to the pastor, not commit your way to any, commit your way to the Lord. Trust him, and he will act. There are people already lined up. When I went back on Facebook, I went in my inbox to find the message that I had originally sent to Makita about the shirts. And it said April 2017. We started chatting. And back then also, I used to put up, I told you, encouraging posts, but on Instagram, because you can't type like you do on Facebook, I used to put them in these decorative little backgrounds and all of that stuff like that. And I had sent one to her. And what it said was, if God gave you the idea, trust that he's already prepared someone to support it. If God gave you that vision, if God gave you that idea, the desires of your heart, I really do believe they come from God. I believe he puts them there, allows us to become aware of it. And then in our awareness, now we realize I need him to water it. I need him to bring this sunlight. I need him for the nutrients. I need him. So the desires of your heart, if he gave you or put that in your heart, then you have to trust that God has already aligned and assigned the people, the favor, and the support to back that thing up. Ooh, as I was saying, back that thing up. Not on Saturday. Well, not on the video. Duck lips. I can sign. He has already equipped someone. He has already built someone. He has already provided for someone. He already has someone assigned and aligned and appointed. They're waiting. And on their end, guess what? They may realize I'm the financial support for someone who's doing this. God already told me that. I just don't know who it is. And I just don't know when it is. So now what I know, God told me, I'm just waiting. But now when I come across the right person or see the right post on Facebook or on social media or have the right conversation with someone or walk into a store. You ever walk into a store and you overhear a conversation or you talking with somebody and they say something and it's just like, oh, really? Oh my goodness, can I have their number? Or they ask, can I? Oh, or you'll say, you know what? I know somebody who can do that. Yeah, and her prices are awesome. You know what? Let me give you her number right now. Sometimes it's just like that. It does not, and oftentimes won't happen the way that you think it's going to. All you have to do, once again, Psalms 37, trust in the Lord. Trust in him. Commit your ways to him, and he will act upon it. He will give you the wisdom. He will give you the knowledge. He will give you the know-how. He will order your steps. But now your life has to be in his hand in order for him to maneuver you the way that he chooses to. You can't say, well, God, I'm going to put one foot on your hand and the other one, I need to make sure that I got ground. I need to make sure that I'm stable. That's not trust. That's not trust. That's tempt. I just want, that's testing. I want to test to see how far God can get me if I just put one foot in his hand. I'm all in. I'm all in. Surrender. There's no way if you're getting arrested, you can surrender with one hand up and one hand waving. That cop gonna shoot you. Don't wave your hands. As we tell them in basketball. Put your hands up. Don't even jump. Because now when you put your hands up and you jump, guess what? And you come in contact with the girl who got the ball and you on defense, guess what that's called? A foul. A foul. Full surrender. Let me put my coffee down. Full surrender. I give up my right. Full surrender. My hands is not on it. God, yes, my mouth is doing what it's supposed to, speaking life. My mouth is praying. My hands is clean. My heart is pure. I'm submitted. I'm surrendered. I'm waiting. I'm praying. I'm believing. I'm repeating. God, I'm waiting. I'm praying. I'm believing. I'm repeating. And put pray on top. God, I'm praying. And as I pray, I'm going to wait and be of good courage like your word tells me. And as I wait and be of good courage, God, I believe. I'm not just waiting. I'm believing. When we wait for a bus, when you wait for your Uber, when you wait for your Uber, if you got Uber Eats or all these different things, when you wait and you're waiting, believing that they're coming. You don't believe that you made the phone call to order or you typed it in your phone. I've never done Uber Eats, so I don't even know how that thing works. But I think it's on the phone, right? I don't know. Whether you call, I ordered food the other day on Super Bowl Sunday. We ordered. I called. When I called them, I was expecting them to come. Now, yes, they said 45 minutes. But I'm looking at the top. And no, we don't know time with God. But we know that he's always on time. In time. He's always on time. He's always in time. Never late. Never late. I want to encourage you to believe that you can. Why? Because the Bible says so. So every reason that you have, every excuse that you are using, it's time to erase that off your board. Start with a clean slate. And at the top of it, you need to put, I can, with the hashtag and you double it. That I can. Then remind yourself all things through Christ. All things through Christ. Here's some questions. Have you written your plan? We already know the Bible tells us to write the vision and make it plain. Are you committing your way? Like we just read. Where is your team, your accountability? Who do you have around you? Are they adding fuel to your fire or are they pouring water on your fire? Are you working it, whatever that thing is, or are you waiting for it to work for you? Are you just sitting there like, okay, I thought it, I wrote it, now it's just going to blink and it's going to happen? Are you legit? One of the things that the Holy Spirit began to deal with me with after some time, Designs by Dory. I never had an LLC, and there's many different sole proprietor, the DBA, whatever it is that you do. Are there papers that's attached to the other end of that business or that idea? Are there some things that you need to be legit, government-wise? Have you done all of that? Have you put that in place? Because sometimes that can be the thing, not necessarily from a standpoint of what you do. But God is looking at that thing. Remember, everything that we do, it extends from him. And he's a God of decency and order. He does not skip the process. He does not. Now, he may process us different ways where we may skip technically how things should go or have gone for other people. But he's still going to process us all the way that he sees fit as our Father and Creator and knows that is meaningful to us. He's still going to process us. But have you done all the things and have you taken all the steps in the process to get to where you want to be, to have what God said? Okay. Do you have the right motives? Why do you want to do that thing? Some of us just want to do it because it worked for everybody else. Some of us just want to do it because I'd rather do this because it's going to allow me to be seen. you know, then there's some issues within if you're trying to do something to make people think that you're something that you're really not. If you got to make them or do things to make them think that, then it just means you're really not. I mean, stop putting more pressure on yourself. Let's scrape the board once again. Every reason, every excuse, all those hidden agendas of our hearts, the issues of our hearts that no one knows about, that we think no one knows about. But some people can see it. Some people knows it because you're dealing from a faulted place. It's like if you touch dirt and then you go to touch your white shirt, there's no way that you can't tell me that you didn't touch this shirt when I look at your fingers and you got dirt on them. And you may be like, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I ain't touched that shirt. Let me see your fingers. Ma'am, sir, your fingers is dirty. And those fingerprints on my white shirt is the same size as your dirty little fingerprints on your hand. And the last question, do we, I'm going to include myself, do we really trust God? When we say we trust him, is that one foot in his hand and the other foot on the ground? Because now I can be balanced. Is that Peter, are you walking on water? Or are you becoming immediately distracted and now you sink? Have faith in God. How do you believe in yourself? Because for some of us, that's our issue. We don't believe in ourselves. We just don't. I don't think I have enough. I don't think I am enough. I don't think I know enough. I don't think. Well, maybe you need to stop thinking and start believing. How do you believe? First, you got to know the true, ultimate, true and living God. The one who created everything, the one who purposed you, who created you with a plan, a master plan in mind. Well, do you know that? Do you know what that plan is? If not, you need to seek him to find out your purpose, your identity. If you don't know those things, then you probably are, or you may believe you can, but what you believe in you can do is not what God called you to do. What you believe in you can do is not who you are. What you believe in you can do is not who you're supposed to or what you're supposed to do. You're just believing that you can do something that comes easier, something that you like, something that doesn't really cost you much, something you don't have to be responsible for. I don't need no accountability around me because, you know, I just do what I do. I just do what I want to do. But what God calls us to is bigger than us, always bigger than us. So it's going to cause us to have some days where we question, man, can I really do this? Not from a place of fear to hold us back, but it's a question that we ask ourselves that on the end of that, then we should say, man, can I really do that? But wait, God said I can. See how the face just changed? Well, can I really do that? That's worry. That's question. That's like fear. Wait, but God said I can. My joy is in what God said. My joy is in knowing that he makes no mistakes. My joy is in knowing that he wins. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Right? Be encouraged. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Yeah, try it and see what happens. Until next Saturday, keep living, keep laughing, keep loving, keep breathing. Jesus loves you and I do too. I pray that you have an awesome and amazing week. I can. All things through Christ.